He's excited. We'll go straight to your questions. We'll start right here in the front row.
Hey, Luther. AP Stedham, AP and Kelly, as we say at Syndicate Radio. Luther, what are you trying to do this year that you haven't displayed the last few seasons? You made quite an improvement from your freshman year to your sophomore year. And what can you tell us about your quarterback and that special relationship that you have with him?
I can tell you that my quarterback, he's a great player off the field. You know, me and him has definitely created a better relationship this year. You know, we hang out more than we did last year. I feel like the trust, you know, has grew. And what was your other question? What I'm trying to do this year that I haven't done the first year is, you know, win the big national championship.
Tyler Shaw with KBTX in College Station. Luther, Missouri hasn't played at Kyle Field since 2014, and you guys have that road trip this year. Just what have you heard about playing in College Station at Kyle Field, and how much are you looking forward to that road trip?
I heard it's a high-style environment. That's pretty much what I heard, but I know some players there and stuff, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing in front of 100,000. So I can't wait.
Right side on the aisle here.
Luther, Brady just earlier mentioned the Kansas State game as a turning point for him personally in terms of his confidence. How did you see that grow over last offseason, and why do you think that game was such a turning point for him?
I feel like because we was a crazy underdog during that game. We was at home, and I feel like his confidence this year is tremendously way better than it was last year. I could just feel the vibe. I can tell that he's ready. Like he's actually ready, and I'm excited.
We'll go again on the aisle here.
How much of a factor has NIL been in Missouri's resurgence, both in terms of keeping local guys like you around the program, but also the creativity in which they've shown, not only on just the state level, but with the deals they've helped some of y'all procure?
It definitely helped with me personally because, I wasn't, I didn't grow up with a lot of money, so definitely I was grateful to have the opportunity to create my name and, name, image, and likeness, create it and build it, actually. And, Missouri has helped me build my stuff off the field, tremendously. And I feel like they're going to do that with, every player that, comes there.
Back row on the left.
Dan Peck, ESPN 106.7 in Auburn. Coach Drinkwitz was talking about the 2022 loss at Auburn, mentioned that you were one of the players really affected by it in the aftermath of it. You have Auburn on the schedule again this year. This time the game's going to be at home in October. Is that something you got circled on the schedule?
I got every game circled on the schedule. My motto is still something to prove. I feel like I still got a lot to prove, to the rest of the country. And I'm definitely looking forward to the Auburn game.
On the right again.
Maybe a tough question for you to answer, but I'm just curious. How do you think about your place in college football among the best players? You had a breakout season last year, or a five-star recruit coming in, going in your junior season. Where do you kind of look at yourself?
Like as a
player?
How I look at myself as a player, I feel like there's still work to do, still work not done. I still got a lot to prove. Once again, I want to show I'm the best in the country. So I'm going to show that.
Okay, left side.
After the season you guys had last year, you're not going to be catching anybody by surprise, and there are a lot of high expectations heading into this season. So I guess how do you guys manage that, and do you like having that kind of high expectations attached to you guys?
I feel like that we just, need to take one game at a time. So our focus is on Murray State. It's the first game of the season, and everything else gonna, play itself out.
Okay. Missouri made a pretty concerted effort early last season to get you involved and get you a lot more touches than you had your freshman season. What did that do for your confidence in the offense, do you think?
You said, do I feel my confidence?
What did that do for your confidence last year when they were feeding you the ball early, and what do you think that did for the offense?
I feel like it definitely, got me going. When I get the ball, I get, I get ready to go. So yeah, it definitely helped building my confidence. Getting me the ball early. Getting me going. And it helped our team. Tremendously.
Any specific aspects of your game you really wanted to work on this offseason? Anything you really wanted to improve on going into your next year of college football?
I would say contested catches.
We'll go on the aisle here on the left.
George T, KTVT, CBS here in Dallas. How important is it to be involved in the special teams as a starting wide receiver?
It's definitely a huge part of the game. You can win or lose on special teams. So I feel like that I can, help us in a tremendous way on special teams. And most of the times, you get a touchdown on special teams, you 90% win the game. So I'm looking forward to getting more touchdowns on special teams this year.
Left side.
How have you seen Brady Cook grow, in his time at Missouri, and then just, looking at quarterback receiver combinations in the SEC, how dangerous can you and he be as a combo?
We definitely could be, the best duo in the country, I believe. And I feel like his confidence has grew tremendously. He just feel more comfortable. So that's very good that he's gonna feel comfortable and go out there and do his thing.
Right side again.
What did DJ Johnson mean to you early in your career before he passed?
He meant everything to me. Last year I dedicated that season to him. And, I miss him very well. And he always going to be my guy.
We have any other questions? All right, here in the front row.
Luther, you lost a great running back to the NFL. Who's going to take that person's place? Maybe a committee of running backs.
We have a couple guys from the portal who can, help take that spot. We got guys there, who's been in the offense, who can take the spot. So it's all up for grabs in fall camp.
Other one on the right.
I just wanted to follow up. When did you meet DJ originally, and how did he mentor you, especially as a young receiver growing up in St. Louis?
I met him from my dad, because him and my dad was like real close friends way before I was even thought of. So me and him just, kind of grew a relationship. And I mean, he just helped me off the field, on the field. He went to the league. He know how to get there. And he was kind of in the same situation as me. He didn't have a lot of money coming up. He didn't have a lot of role models. Being from St. Louis and the projects, and I just looked at that and like we kind of got the same. We kind of have the same situation, so it's been tough.
Left side, back row.
Coach mentioned that there were a lot of players on the team really proud to play in St. Louis. What did that mean to get to go home and play in front of that crowd?
It was great, man. I had a lot of family members there, that would probably never be to another football game of mine ever again. But just to be being able to play at home in college is like crazy. Like it's a crazy experience. I had a great time. I think I had one of my best games there. So I would love to do it again.
Front row here.
Luther, who are some of the players you watched growing up or some of the players you watch now?
I watched Jamison Williams grow up. I watched Jamar Chase. Those two guys I kind of look at the most.
Final question here on the right.
When you're probably going in your last season of your career potentially, what has it meant to stay home for you? You had the option to go anywhere in the country you wanted to. You chose to stay in St. Louis, or chose to stay in Missouri. What has the city meant for you, and what has the opportunity to play there meant for you?
I felt like before I got there, the state was kind of dry. So I feel like my impact, with going there could have changed the whole, scenario of the whole reputation of Missouri Tigers. And that's why I'm still continue working, still continue trying to change that. And, I'm trying to put us on top.
First of all, I got to say Max Power says hello. Is that your boy?
Yeah.
It's my best friend, dude.
Yeah, I know. He's your center back in high school. Just wanted to ask, how you feel about Marcus Bryant maybe protecting your blind side, how you see Caden fitting into that offensive line. How are you guys coming together, as a unit trying to replace, some really talented guys from last year's team?
Yeah, it's hard to replace Javon Foster, Xavier Delgado. I mean, those guys spent a lot of time together, a lot of chemistry with those two. But I think we did about the best we could. Caden got here in January, and, it's been a perfect fit. Him and Membu have already had a close connection, good relationship, which has helped a lot. And, he's meshed right in. And then, Marcus Bryant, he got here for this summer. It's been a great fit, going through OTAs, workouts, meetings. Those two are, perfect fit for our culture, perfect fit for the line, and I'm excited to watch them do their thing.
Left side, fourth row, then pass it up one seat when you're done.
Gavin Baxley, ESPN, the ticket of Montgomery. Kristian Williams just a minute ago said that he felt like y'all still had something to prove. Could you maybe expand on that a little bit?
Yeah. Last year our motto formed into something to prove. I'm sure you guys have heard it. We lived by it, and we still do. Although we had a good year last year and accomplished, a few things, we still have to go out and prove it this year. For the guys who came back, for the team we have right now, 2024 is all that matters. That's the record that's going to be talked about. These are the games that's going to be talked about. No one's going to be talking about the Cotton Bowl versus Ohio State anymore moving forward. It's in the past. It's in the history books. So we have to go out and prove it every single week. No one's going to hand it to us. No one's going to, give us any free handouts. So, us, Mizzou, we got to go earn it. We got to go prove it.
On the aisle, and then pass it to your right.
Okay, Brady, Dennis Dodd, CBS Sports. What was it like basically waiting your turn those 2 years? Is that something you planned on? I know how the roster was stacked, but that couldn't have been easy.
Yeah, it was tough. I don't know if I planned on it or not. I graduated early with the idea of, let's go learn as much as possible and see if I can compete. I didn't know what college football was all about yet. I was still new. So, I don't think I was disappointed in that. But it was definitely hard. That was the first time in my life that I've ever not played on my team. I've always been the starting quarterback, whether it's grade school, middle school, high school. I've always been that leader of the team. So, to sit back and have those 2 years of just kind of learning and kind of being away from the in-game action, it was hard, but at the same time, I learned a ton. I was able to see different perspectives. I wasn't thrown into the fire too early.
Up on that, can you understand why Arch Manning is doing this consciously, and getting his shot maybe next year?
Yeah, absolutely. I was able to room with Arch down at the Manning Passing Academy, so we had some great conversations, and I just love how he's handled everything. He's smart, man. He's smart. He's a smart dude. He's a good dude. I think he's doing the right thing. He's learning so much from Quinn right now, and he's already so talented. He already has so much knowledge of the game. His mentors, we don't even have to go through that list. So he's already so smart. He's in a great spot, and for him to be able to learn from Quinn for another year, bounce ideas off of him, collaborate together, and play together, that's huge for him.
Right side, back row.
Ryan Chapman, Sooners on the side. You mentioned how Caden fit in with the locker room. What were your first impressions of him once you got out, got to see him kind of in action, practice, spring ball, that stuff?
Caden Green?
Yeah.
He fit right in. Like I said, got here in January. We start spring ball early, so we start spring ball probably the third week of February. And, first practice, he's just out there doing his thing, full speed, hitting pads, I'm giving him the calls. He's not looking confused. He's not hesitating. He's getting the call, getting lined up, and he's doing what he needs to do. So I think it was just seamless with him. He came right in. Like I said, has a relationship with Membu, Makai Miller, a couple of guys previously, which helped. And then, he just came right in, and, he fits in great.
Left side, and then pass it behind you, please.
Morgan Weaver from KBTX in College Station. It's been since 2014 that Missouri has played in College Station. Just what have you heard about the atmosphere at Kyle Field?
I heard Kyle Field gets pretty loud. I've heard there's a lot of fans. I heard it gets rowdy, but I hear it's a great environment. I'm excited. I get to play in a few different places I haven't played yet this year. Obviously with the realignment and everything like that, Texas A&M being one of them. So, I've heard a lot of great things. I hear it's a hard place to play at. I'm sure it is. but I'm excited for it.
Right side on the aisle.
Brady, I'm curious, Oklahoma and Texas coming into this league, I'm sure you have some memories growing up watching them. What's the feeling of getting to play them, play Oklahoma at least, in their debut season in the SEC?
Yeah, I'm excited. When I think of Oklahoma, I think about the college game day game at Mizzou, when fans rush the field. We beat the #1 overall team. That's what I go back to in my mind. Because obviously that was a big memory for me as a fan. And, I'm looking forward to this year's game. It's going to be fun. But like I said earlier, we have to go improve it week to week. If we get to the Oklahoma game and, we have a couple of losses on the schedule, that game won't feel quite as nice. So we got to go prove it week 1, week 2, week 3, and we'll get to Oklahoma when it happens.
Left side, fourth row.
Michael Cobble, WBRZ TV in Baton Rouge. Kind of a big picture question, but you talked about Arch. We've got Garrett, obviously, in Baton Rouge. Carson, some quarterbacks are sticking around, right, and getting their opportunity. Is that something that, with the success that you guys are having, maybe can change the narrative of needing to leave to play right away?
Yeah, I think there's some merit to it. At least in my experience and talking to some of those guys down at the Manning Academy, when you stick with a program and a team for a certain amount of time, you really become it. You embody it. You learn how everything works. Every single person in the building. I walk into our facility. I know every single person, staff, lunchroom, player, nutrition, fourth floor coaches. I know everybody. They're comfortable with me. I'm comfortable with them. So as a quarterback, that helps me lead. I know everybody. I know how to lead everyone. Whereas if you transferred somewhere and you're trying to just transfer for maybe 1 year, you transfer to a second team, that chemistry, there's just no way it can be the same. So I think there's some merit to it, and I think it gives me some confidence too.
3 final questions. We'll start over here.
Yeah, Marquise last year, breakout freshman season, was up near, I think, 25, 30 yards a catch, but just kind of a catch a game. Part of it is that receiver room is just so talented. Is there anything he's done as a player this offseason, or Kirby Moore as a play caller, to get him some more touches and maybe more involved in the offense next fall?
Yeah, Marquise is speedy. I think we all know that. He's probably the fastest guy on our team. And he's talented, man. To do what he did as a freshman last year in those big moments was impressive. I think one thing that stuck out to me is, he's gained weight. He's developed his body. It's something I noticed. He always comes up to me. He tells me, Brady, I gained weight, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, dude, let's go. We need that. He's conscious. He's focused. He was talking to me 2 days ago. He's like, hey, fall camp, after practice, let's rep 9 balls, posts, shoot routes. He loves all the deep stuff. But, he's talented, man. He's focused. Super impressive what he did as a freshman last year, so I'm excited to see him play.
Left side, back row, then up 1 row after that.
Dan Peck, ESPN 1067 in Auburn. Auburn is making the trip to Missouri in October. Just the second time in program history they've played in Columbia. You were there for Auburn's win at home. Was it 2022? I believe when Auburn beat Missouri in the
at Auburn.
Yeah, in Auburn. Yes, that one. So maybe a little bit of payback, but also just your familiarity with the Auburn program and Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of payback. The 1 in 22, that stung. I still feel that one. So thanks for the reminder on that. No, I'm just kidding. I haven't dove into, Auburn prep or really taken a really good look at kind of their personnel, but, I know they have a good program. I know they can win any given game they play. They haven't been this strong in the SEC for no reason. They can win every game they play, and it's going to be fun. I'm excited that they're coming to our place this time. I enjoyed playing at Auburn last time, but it's going to be a fun game, man. I'm excited.
Final question here on the left.
Trevor Denton, Way 31. Brady, for those of us that have never had the pleasure of throwing the ball to one of the best players in the nation, what does it feel like to drop back and pass and know that Luther Burden is down there somewhere? What does that feel like?
Yeah, it's great. As a quarterback, that's what you want. We're going on year 3 together right now. So our chemistry is at an all-time high. We've worked really hard this offseason. We spent many times one-on-one working sessions, working little details. He's definitely growing. He continues to get better, and we're confident. So I think our duo is going to be fun to watch, fun to play as a quarterback. And yeah, like you said, he goes deep, and I can just put it in an area, and he makes a play on it. So Luther's a fun guy to have in that room.
Brady, thank you very much. Good job.
Thank you.
Kristian Williams, he's ready for your questions. We'll start over here on the left-hand side.
Morgan Weaver from KPTX in College Station. It's been since 2014 Mizzou's played in College Station. Just what have you heard about Kyle Field and that atmosphere?
I heard it was, over 100-some thousand people? That's a lot of people, but, we ain't really gave too much thought about it. We're just trying to focus on what we have to accomplish right now, and that's to get through summer workouts, go through fall camp, and just build that camaraderie with one another.
On the right side, and then pass the microphone forward.
Kristian, I'm curious, what kind of bonus have maybe you, a guy like Johnny taken on, trying to mentor all these transfers and young guys coming on the defensive line? What have you done to help them adapt to the culture? And even a guy like Will coming straight from the high school level in KC where he's a high recruit, how do you help him adapt to the Mizzou culture and be able to make sure that he can contribute next season?
Not only trying to enforce the standard on them, but just to make them feel more comfortable in who they are as a person. You got everybody on the team. They're all leaders in their own way, form and fashion. And I feel like my job is to just try to find out and figure it out and enhance it a little more so they can be able to do what they want to do.
Go on the back row, to the left.
Dan Pack, ESPN 106.7 in Auburn. After a big season last year, a lot of folks are talking about Missouri as a contender this year. Has it been difficult to ignore all of that and just have a normal offseason? Do you embrace the expectations? What's that been like?
Oh, with social media and phones and technology and stuff, it's obviously difficult to be able to block anything out. But for the most part, we just try to stay present and lock in on what we got to do and lock in on the adversities that, as a team, that we got to go through. And just to be able to come out of that, we'll just build our brotherhood and our bond with one another. So we're not really too focused on that.
Right side on the aisle, please.
Hey, Kristian, Natalie Jones with ABC 17 in Columbia. First year with Corey Batoon at the helm of this defense. How did spring go with Corey? How did things differ maybe a little bit from last year with him at the helm?
He's fresh in, so just to be able to know him as a person, for him to know me as a person, it took a lot of growing pains in that area just to get to know one another first and then go right into the workouts, go right into the walkthroughs, go right into knowing the playbook and stuff. And it's challenging for anybody. So just to be able to experience that with him and learn more of him and pick off his brain as much as I could possibly can. He's a situational master, so that's my biggest takeaway from him. He's a laid-back guy. He gets on you if he needs to, and I'm just excited to see what the future may hold.
Left side on the aisle and pass it back.
Kennedy Wright with CBS 42. There's a lot of conversation regarding the schedule of this upcoming season and how it can kind of be seen as in Missouri's favor. Would you agree that the schedule of the season is in you guys' favor?
I wouldn't say that, because every single game is NFL caliber players on each and every team. So you have to bring your A game every game. So I wouldn't say it's in our favor. We're just trying to prove something. And each and every year we have something to prove. We're just trying to elevate the standard that we had from last year. And last year's the past, and we accepted that. And we're just trying to move forward.
Okay, on the aisle.
Yeah, Evan Kamiko, Pig Trail Nation. Last year, the game between Arkansas and Missouri got pretty chippy on the field, and off the field, there's been questions whether or not it is a rivalry. What do you think is the future between Arkansas and Missouri?
What do I think the future between us and Arkansas? Whatever it is, it's a rival for a reason. So who knows? You never know. But it's a competitive sport at the end of the day. Emotions flare up. Guys compete with one another at the highest level. So you want to bring that out of somebody. Like, you want to bring the best out of them. So who knows?
Left side, front row.
Yeah, Brandon Dramo, UInsider.com, Rivals.com. It's been over a decade since Missouri and Oklahoma have, seen each other, battle each other on the field. They have a long history of playing each other through the Big 8 and the Big 12. Has that been a discussion? I guess Coach Drinkwitz, has he talked to you all about that? And obviously, just can you tell that it used to be kind of a heated rivalry back in the day for a little bit?
I actually learned that through social media. Coach Drink, he never really touched on it. he just wants us to be present and stay focused. The most important game is the next game, and in our case, it's the next workout or the next day of fall camp. So he just wants us to focus on what's now, and then when that time comes, just be prepared for it.
Right side on the aisle.
Kristian, as you saw guys like D-Rob and, guys move forward to the NFL draft and go into the NFL, how do you feel like your role maybe shifts a little bit this year as a leader on this team?
Role may have shifted. I would probably say, I wouldn't say that the mission is different. At the end of the day, I have something to prove. I'll just probably say it's with a newer group of guys, so I have to get to know more people more, and it's not a problem for me. At the end of the day, I want to be able to go outside my comfort zone. I want them to go outside their comfort zone, and for us to thrive how we want to thrive, you have to make those sacrifices.
Right side, fourth row.
I'm curious on the interior of the defensive line, guys like Eddie, Sterling, Chris transfers in too. How do you see kind of you guys shaping up as far as, you guys going to play mostly 3, see yourself moving inside a little bit in terms of technique? How do you see, you guys as kind of an interior defensive line shaping up next season?
As we would call ourselves Trish Mob, and also, in my opinion, we are big athletes. So I feel like we could do it all at any weight. I mean, Coach Batum has a great scheme for us in all assets. I mean, he has multiple defenses that we could go in and out of. He has multiple disguises. So just be on the lookout for many different looks.
Back row.
Kristian, in October, Auburn comes to visit Missouri. It's not a series that's been played all that often since Missouri joined the SEC. Your familiarity with the Auburn program, anybody on that team, and anybody who you've played with in the past?
I knew some guys like DJ James, Robbie Ashford, but also as of now I know Asante, and he's up here now. So, I mean, we're not going to exchange words on what our game going to be like. We just rather show each other. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing. That's the person I know.
Any other questions? Thank you very much, Kristian.
Appreciate y'all.